It's 28 years since the IRSP spoken at a hunger strike march in Belfast, and from that time we have done our own commemorations at Mickey, Patsy's and Kevin's grave. But we do believe, and the reason that we're here today, and say there's a commemoration on Derry today for Michael Devine, the IRSP is doing. But we do believe there should be, every single year, should be a hunger strike march in Belfast. The sacrifice that the 10 men made, and all the others who died on the outside and struggled on the outside, needs to be recognised in Belfast, and we believe it should happen annually and it should happen every year, and that's the reason we're speaking here today. We were going to write a different speech for this march, but what we've decided to do, and I hope people will respect and appreciate it, is I'm going to read the exact same oration that's been given over the grave of Michael Devine as we speak here today. Arcadia. It's an honour to be asked to speak here on the 30th anniversary of the death of our friend and comrade, Irish National Liberation Army volunteer Michael Devine in Long Kesh. To remember not only Mickey, but all those who were forced to undertake the protest action in order to defeat the futile British policy of criminalisation. The hunger strike was a struggle fought by Ireland's most dedicated revolutionaries. It was among the most heroic battles in the course of recent struggles for national liberation in Ireland. A battle that began with a simple refusal to wear a convict's uniform and slowly grew into a mass movement. That struggle eventually led to the hunger strikes of 1980 and 1981. Today, 30 years ago, Mickey gave his life in Long Kesh. He was the last of the 10 men to die during the hunger strike, and shortly after his death the protest came to an end. As well as 10 young Republicans who died within Long Kesh, many more were to die on the outside during that summer and the summer previous, including prominent activists in the H-Block Armagh committees, Miriam Daly, Ronnie Bunton, Noel Lyttle, all of the IRSP, John Turnley of the Irish Independence Party, John Dempsey, Nathaniel Aaron, and NLA volunteers Matt McLarnon and Jim Power, who were killed on active service. Many others were maimed, killed or hurt by plastic bullets. It was against this backdrop that Mickey and his 9 comrades bravely faced death. As we stand and remember the hunger strikers today, let us not forget that Irish Republican prisoners are lying incarcerated in a protesting in a British jail today. It does not matter if we agree or disagree with armed struggle at this moment in time. The prisoners today are every bit political prisoners as all those Irish Republicans who went before them. As we remember Mickey and his 9 comrades, we also honour the hundreds of prisoners who endured the blanket and no-wash protests in Long Kesh, Armagh and elsewhere, many now suffering ill health as a result. Likewise, we honour the thousands on the outside who campaigned tirelessly for the prisoners. We honour the volunteers of the NLA and the IRA who took the war to the British on the streets of this city and across the north. They all played an important role in the struggle. We acknowledge and remember their roles because ultimately the hunger strikers and the campaign around them was successful. It was successful only because the people came out and gave their support and showed a unity that is yet to be matched. Whilst the hunger strike was 30 years ago, we should never forget the sacrifices of our comrades. In fact, we are duty bound by their legacy to continue to fight for the ideals they gave their lives for. Our question today is, how do we all, as Republicans, hope to advance the Republican ideal? Well, the IRSP will carry on playing our part in advocating and arguing and convincing for a socialist republic. But we are relatively a small organisation, and there are many small organisations out there doing the same. But overall, if we are honest, not much progress has been made. The IRSP were at the forefront in 1975 of advocating broad front of political groups within republicanism and the left, of coming together on common issues in order to make progress for our class. Whilst we remember the hunger strikers, we should never lose track of the political road that they took. One of them, Mickey Devine, chose Republican socialism because he believed that the only truly free Ireland is an Ireland in which exploitation is no more. An Ireland where democracy is in the hands of the people, and an Ireland in which the working class decides their own economic destiny. Mickey was a Republican socialist who believed in building a working class led movement whose ultimate aim was to defeat partition and to defeat capitalism and replace these with socialism and freedom. Ireland is still partitioned. Sectarianism is rife. We are still ruled by capitalists, and the working class is still being exploited day and daily. We haven't made much progress since 1981. The capitalist class retains and strengthens its iron grip on the levers of power, north and south. The IRSP believe, far from being beaten or held to a draw, the British have strengthened and consolidated their influence in Ireland, all to Ireland's shame. Through the 1998 agreement, they sold their souls for penny rolls and lumps of hairy bacon. In 1981, the blanket men and women in H Block and Armagh found a unity of purpose and a determination. We all drew strength from within that unity. Inside Longcast, the prisoners, whilst coming from different organisations, came together in order to defeat a common enemy. Their political differences were accepted and respected, and when faced with a tyrant enemy, standing together under a common struggle meant that the prisoners were ultimately victorious. Recently, working together, Irish Republicans and Republican Socialists forced the Stormont regime to release seriously ill POW Brendan Lillis from his internment in Macabry. We stand united today on the issue of the continued internment of Marion Price and Martin Curry. We demand their release from their unjust detention. Today, though, that unity that was there in 1981 is sadly no longer in place. For there to be any progress towards our ultimate goal of defeating partition and overturning capitalism, then unity of purpose must prevail. Republicans and other progressive forces must work together when necessary and as equals. We cannot forget the political difference that exists, but for there to be real progress, there has to be cooperation with all political groups. Failing to work towards unity of purpose within republicanism and failing to defeat elitist attitudes will ultimately mean defeat for our common goals. Even provisional Sinn Féin must now recognise there is no victory, there is no freedom, and there is no liberty in being the top dog of Irish republicanism. Any Republican who continues to argue for populist and clientelist politics is preaching the gospel of defeat and failure. It allows our enemies, the Brits, the capitalists, our own homegrown entrepreneurs and opportunists, to define the parameters of the Irish freedom struggle. It has to be resisted at all costs and exposed for the fraud that it is. There is no single route to a 32-county socialist republic through Stormont or any other partitionist establishment. Electoralism is a useful tool in the revolutionary toolbox, but in itself is not a revolutionary strategy. On its own, it can never secure our aims. We need to organise, we need to agitate, and we need to spread the gospel of discontent. We need to build bridges and forge new spearheads for revolutionary struggle in Ireland. That is a task we inherit from Mickey and his 9 comrades. Their legacy is the Irish Socialist Republic, and it has yet to be achieved. Today, many different Irish Republican groups are engaged in trying to remove the British from Ireland. We all have different strategies and different political emphasis. For our part, the IRSP will continue to build an anti-imperialist broad front of the occupied, the dispossessed, the marginalised, the exploited and the disenfranchised. A broad front that will confront capitalism in Ireland and promote the interests of the Irish working class first and foremost. As we go about our business, the various Republican groups, it is inevitable that our paths will cross as we move forward. Let that engagement be positive. Let us all demonstrate that we are fully focused on the task in hand. Volunteers, Bobby Sands, Francis Hughes, Raymond McCreash, Patsy O'Hara, Joe McDonald, Martin Harrison, Kieran Doherty, Kevin Lynch, Tom McElwee and Mickey Devine, we salute you. And to finish, in the words of Patsy O'Hara to his mother Peggy on his deathbed in the H-Blocks, let the fight go on. Fair play, go on.